difference of the new J model that's coming off the assembly line now is the fact that due to automation, they have eliminated the flight engineer's position, or the third position, in the cockpit. In addition to that, they have upped the jet engines, the turboprop engines, to increase their horsepower and reduce their fuel capacity. And then they have a six-bladed propeller that is really shaped very wildly. It's a computer-generated shape on a propeller. It's made by the Doughty company, and they're quite proud of it, and they know it looks kind of different or strange compared to the straight line props that are on display both on the P3 O'Brien and on this airplane on ground display here at your air show. They say we build the funny looking props, but they are very, very efficient. The many jobs that C-130 can do: medical evacuation, troop transport, cargo transport, airborne assault, search and rescue, refueling, and aerial firefighting. By the way, there are a squadron of these airplanes operated by the military that fight wildfires in 4 locations. Generally, they're based on the East Coast, 1 in Colorado, and 2 out on the West Coast. And they put a mold or a temporary tank back on that rear ramp with a spray bar, and they go out with that red Phos-Check material and put out wildfires wherever they're needed. Here's the high-speed pass coming up. You will not hear an increase in the propeller RPM. They just change the pitch to gain more horsepower and more speed. Some of the aircraft in the other branches of the service include ice patrol. And I mentioned to our crowds as we get around, we did a show in Schenectady, New York for a number of years for the Empire State Aero Sciences Museum. They were the sponsoring organization on a 501c3 corporation. They had a squadron at the Schenectady County Airport that had aircraft like these. They took them up to the Antarctic regularly. And how did they land? Well, they had the most giant set of skis that you'll ever see on a land-based airplane. And they operated with great precision and great professionalism in those remote places, getting people and equipment, and let's go back to basics, getting food and supplies and medical equipment into those remote bases and out again. A giant pair of skis. That was something to behold. Depending on the dash engine on this particular aircraft, turning the 4-bladed propeller, is probably producing at maximum temperatures a little over 4,000 horsepower. Now, as you've watched them come around, you saw the high-speed pass. Now they'll start to configure the aircraft as they would coming into a very unimproved strip, maybe even into a hostile area. What you may see is they keep the airplane at a higher altitude than most airplanes would be coming in. That is to keep a lucky ground shot from an enemy rifle from ruining the day for you or your airplane. And then, with minimum speed, they will dump the nose down as they reach the safety portion of that landing area. The compartment is protected by our troops. This is another thing the airplane does well. As you see it come down, you'll also see those giant tires and a maximum anti-skid braking system along. There it is, the tactical assault. Now that is a normal configuration. They get to a certain point and they do what's called breaking the sink rate, getting it down to what a normal aircraft would use at that particular speed. It's something you would not see in an airliner. Okay, gears down. Now what you're going to do is hear a little bit of extra noise as the props go into the reverse mode and push the air forward instead of aft. From the time gear down, guess the amount of distance they use. Here comes the reverser. If you've ever wondered what it's like to be a group chief for the Air Force, head over to the U.S. Air Force Performance Lab. Visitors can use virtual reality